Today we're gonna teach you how to use this Rollei 35 camera. First of all, you need to put battery into the camera. Battery is not a must, but if you want to use the light meter, you need a battery. The original battery for this camera is the 1.35 volts PX625, which is not available anymore, unfortunately, but there are two alternatives. First of all, you can use a 6258 battery, which is 1.5 volts. The slight difference in voltage usually does not matter. Your second choice is to use a hearing aid battery, which is 1.4 volts, but you may use an adapter together with the battery, so the battery will stay steady in the battery compartment. Then you should put film into the camera, which is pretty much the same when you are using other film cameras. Please make sure the small lever is turned down. Put the film leader into the slot and swing the pressure plate over the film and hold it down. Finally, lock the film compartments. You have two dials in the front of the camera. You can turn the left dial to change aperture, but before you take pictures, you should set your ISO, which should be the same as that of your film. What you need to do is to use this little pin on top of the dial. You can move it around to the ISO value you want. The right dial is for shutter speed. You can turn the dial to change your shutter speed. In the middle of the dial, you can mark what kind of film you are using, but it will not affect your exposure, so you can ignore it. When the battery and film are installed properly, you should be able to see the white needle is moving. But because my camera is broken, I can't show you what a working light meter looks like. Anyway, before you take a picture, you should adjust the shutter speed or aperture so that the red and white needles are at the same position, which means you will have a correct exposure. Before you press the shutter button, you should pull the lens as far as you can and slightly turn left. You will hear a click sound. That means the lens is ready and you are good to go for shooting. Underneath the camera, you can see how many pictures you have taken. The camera does not have autofocus. You have to estimate the distance between you and the subject and set your focal length. This is a British metric system. You can also see the meters underneath the lens. 2 to 6 meters are the most common focal length. That's why they are in red color. The small numbers indicate depth of field. For example, right now the focal length is 2 meters. That means your subject should be approximately 2 meters away from your camera. And if you set your aperture at f8, that means everything between 1.5 and 3 meters away from your camera will be in focus. If you set your aperture at f22, you will have even bigger depth of field. Everything between 1.2 and 6 meters away from your camera will be in focus. If you finish your shooting, you can push the lens back. Before that, you have to pull the winding lever and press the lens release button. Before you take the film out of your camera, you should turn up this little small lever and spin this film rewinder clockwise. You should keep spinning until you hear a click sound, which means the film is completely released from the slot. Usually I would go to a very dark place before I open the film compartment, because sometimes I thought the film was completely rolled back into the canister, when in reality it was not. So I ended up destroying some pictures I had taken. I think you should do the same if you are not proficient at using this camera. So that's pretty much all the instruction for this Rollei 35 camera. I hope you find it useful. Enjoy your shooting. I will see you in the next video.